All right, welcome everybody to Virtual Career Tuesday. It is October 22nd for those of you that are watching this later on. It is 80 degrees outside in October in New England. This is why I love this state. This is a beautiful time for us to get together and talk. Some of you might be watching this at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's going to be great information coming. This is the time that you can prepare for the upcoming sessions and interviews that you'll have at Travelers. So I'm Kathy Hendrickson, the director of the Undergraduate Career Development Office here at the School of Business. And we are absolutely delighted to welcome Amanda Piazza. I had to ask Amanda how to say that because I went right straight to the Italian version of Piazza. So Amanda is the senior consultant, emerging talent acquisition at Travelers. For those of you who think of Travelers as an old school kind of a company, they have been around for about 165 years, but they have reinvented themselves in so many different ways. Their tagline, if you go on their career page, is imagine and imagine working in a changing industry. So one of the reasons we like to have Amanda and people from Travelers join us is to share that update. What's it like to work at Travelers? What is the engagement, the level of interest? What are the exciting careers? There are 30,000 people working there in the US, Canada, UK, Ireland, Brazil. So the opportunities are endless and interesting. Amanda, I am going to let you take over. Amanda does have a deck that she's going to share. I'm going to invite everybody to please keep themselves on mute. Raise your hand if you have a question or use the chat. Sue Landolina on our team as well will be monitoring this and we can jump in at any time. But Amanda, we look forward to hearing your story.
Awesome. Well, Kathy, thank you so much for inviting me here today and super excited to chat with all of you and share with you a little bit more about Travelers and specifically about our student and grad opportunities. I have a lot of information here today and like Kathy said, I do have a deck. It's a deck that we share broadly to give kind of a foundational understanding of Travelers, but I prefer to keep it much more conversational. So if you all have any questions throughout the session today, happy to answer them kind of as we go. Usually how we like to kick some of these sessions off is just providing a little bit of a company overview of who we are. So Kathy had mentioned a couple things. We've been around for a long time, so 165 years. We are 30,000 people strong, as we like to say, as Kathy also mentioned, and something that I think is super exciting about working for Travelers is not only the facts that you kind of see on this page about who we are as a broader organization, but the thing that I really like to share more about when I have these conversations with students is the people of Travelers. And so something that if you learn a little bit more about us and about our organization, something you will hear over and over again is the Travelers Promise. And so while we are a property and casualty insurance company, we do obviously do that type of work, but it's really important to me to highlight the type of people that do that work. And so really something that's important to Travelers is the Travelers Promise, which is taking care of our customers, our community, and each other. And really that is what makes Travelers different from other insurance companies is the amount that they invest not only into their customers, into their communities, but also to their employees. And so, as we mentioned, we are 30,000 people strong, and that's across a variety of locations. So we do have a large home office base here in Hartford, Connecticut. So that's where I sit. I've been with Travelers for 5 years. I actually started with Travelers as an intern. So I went through an internship program myself. Really enjoyed my 10 weeks over the summer with them, and I decided to apply for a full-time opportunity following my graduation. So I went into my senior year with a full-time position locked in for when I graduated. So that's definitely something we'll talk about a little bit during today's conversation around timing for applications, different types of opportunities, but definitely was something exciting and something I was interested, I know, when I was a student. And I've been here for 5 years now, so definitely can see through and through that Traveler's Promise throughout my experience with being with the organization. And I've also more recently had the opportunity to visit our second headquarters location. So that is out in St. Paul, Minnesota. A really cool experience to go out and visit that office location there and meet with some of our participants out there. We have about 2,000 employees out there, so a pretty large size of us. And then we also have a variety of other locations throughout the country as well. I know UConn is right down the road from our Hartford one, but there are students that are based in other locations. And we do offer a variety of opportunities throughout our field offices as well. More excitingly, we did just open up a new tech hub in Atlanta. So that is something that we are also super excited to be growing into in the future as well. So we're a property casualty insurance company. We care about our customers, community, and each other. But, why would you want to work for Travelers? And I really think that something I like to showcase is, why insurance? As a student with a variety of degrees, why enter this industry? Why find it exciting? And there's a couple of reasons. So endless opportunities with your career. I like to share from a personal example. I started at Travelers in a project management type of role. So that's where I did my internship. I worked within the business for about 2 years, was able to learn and obtain a lot of skills, but found that I had a passion for HR. I don't have a formal HR background. I was just able to use the network that I had built at Travelers to gain some additional experiences. And then when an opportunity came up to come over to HR and work in our emerging talent space, I took my shot. And because of the relationships that I had built here at Travelers, I was able to go down a new path and pursue an opportunity I might not have been able to if I was at a different organization. So even if you come into Travelers in one way, they're super passionate and open to you finding work that you are passionate about and encouraging you to pursue that. Couple other things too, an innovative culture. So something that's unique about Travelers is every year we have an event called our Innovation Jam. So that's a 24-hour hackathon. I know that UConn does their own hackathons as well. So definitely something that if you enjoy that, that's something that we offer to our full-time employees. We actually had our all employee call today where they showcase the winners of 2024's Innovation Jam. And it's a really cool opportunity to partner not only with folks that you work with, but also anyone throughout the organization. So you don't have to be a software engineer or someone that has a super heavy tech background to be involved in this. Any employee is open to be involved in this. And they're really looking for those innovative thoughts and minds, not only from folks within our tech space, but folks throughout the entire organization. And then, just a couple other things too. So true corporate citizenship. Travelers does a huge amount within their community. And something else too is just a competitive package. So we are a salary transparent organization. So if you're interested in the dollars, head out to our career site and look at a couple of roles out there. And, overall, it's not only comes to the dollars when it comes to compensation. There are, of course, the health, dental, life benefits, but also competitive PTO, that support for bereavement, all of those things are things to look at. A package, and when you enter a stable industry like the insurance industry, we've been around for a long time, we're going to have to keep being around. It's just things to kind of keep in mind. Couple things I like to highlight. So we touched upon how Travelers does a lot in their community. I'll let the slide speak for itself because it is very impressive. The amount of things that we do and the amount of contributions that we have to the community. Something I like to call out for prospective students that are interested in either our internships or in our full-time programs. A lot of our full-time and internship programs have their own specific community service projects that we do. So for example, our rising senior interns have the opportunity to attend our intern symposium. And so in regards to that, we do a community service project with those interns that attend that event. This year, we did literacy kits with the United Way. We were able to create over 100 literacy kits to give to the local schools in one events night. So if you're interested and passionate about giving back to your community, it's definitely something also super interested in and really willing to support.
So Amanda,
Also, when we
before you
talk about Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here I am jumping in. Before you move past that, one of the things we like to talk to the students about is that if you don't have a lot of traditional work experience, really highlighting the work that they're doing, the volunteer experience with the community, is that something that, travelers will pay attention to when looking at LinkedIn, a resume, a cover letter?
Yeah, absolutely. We just did a resume workshop this afternoon with some of our participants, and they were asking, I volunteer for this organization, is that worth putting on my resume? Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you do have things outside the classroom that you're involved in or organizations that you're a member of, adding that to your resume, not only does it show that you're involved outside the classroom, it also showcases some skills and experiences that you could pull from when looking to apply for a role. So we definitely encourage that.
Okay. And I asked the students to put their majors and class year into the chat. Brianna just shared
Perfect.
that she has a concentration in social responsibility and impact, which is fairly new. Brianna, I'm going to put you on the spot for just 1 second. You want to just share what that concentration means?
Yeah, so right now I'm taking a class with Professor Chambers, and we're kind of learning about the business ethics and the role of how businesses play a role in the social and environmental kind of aspects. I had the class actually yesterday, and we kind of dove into Patagonia and Apple and how they have certain codes of conduct and different things to help promote their business socially.
Excellent.
Awesome.
So, Amanda, that'd be something good for travelers to be paying attention to when talking with students.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. All right, I'm just going to pop through a couple more things that I like to highlight about us and then happy to kind of answer and open up any questions. Something that I think also sets travelers apart is the investment that they make into diversity and inclusion. We have a variety of diversity networks here at Travelers. So these are employee resource groups that are fully run by employees. So Kathy, back to your point of volunteering and being involved, that's not something that has to stop when you leave school. These are not people's full-time roles. This is what they're interested in supporting for or supporting while they're here as an employee. And they're really
Hmm, I think
before very competitive. Oh, did you lose me?
we lost you for a second there.
Oh, okay. Am I back?
You're back, but the
Okay.
screen isn't. So we
Oh, let me
can't
try
see the
again.
presentation.
Here we go. How about now?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So just talking high level, kind of from a benefits perspective, like I said, benefits is not only your compensation, it's your whole benefit package. Thinking about educational assistance programs, a company funded pension plan, which is very unique nowadays. That's not something that you see everywhere, and that pension plan is fully funded by travelers. And then something I like to call out, especially when speaking with students, is our paying it forward savings program. So what this is a program where if you contribute a certain amount of dollars, up to 5% of your eligible pay to your student loans, travelers will match that payment and contribute it to your 401k. So that way you don't have to choose between saving for retirement and paying off your student loans. So we were one of the first to enact this, I think about 7 years ago now. It's been in place for quite a good amount of time. And people really have taken advantage of it, and it's definitely something that we've seen students have a heavier interest in. So overall, like I said, though, the benefits package is very not only compensation based, but thinking about everything from a holistic perspective. And then what I think folks are always the most interested in when we come and chat with them are what are those career and internship opportunities that Travelers has. And so as Kathy had mentioned at the beginning of this conversation, I sit on our emerging talent acquisition team. And as part of that, I have the opportunity to help support all of our leadership development programs as well as our development programs here at Travelers. So when looking at what opportunities are available to students, there's a variety of them that are out there. we have 6 leadership development programs, and we have 5 development programs that are available at the both internship and full-time rotational level. And we also have a variety of other entry-level opportunities as well that are on a rolling basis and don't have a programmatic rotation to them. What I will say is that our leadership development programs and development programs are really designed to provide students with a rotational based experience throughout these parts of the organization. So for example, our actuarial program, that's a 5-year full-time program. It provides exam support. It provides opportunities to work full-time while studying for your exams. And it also provides you with the opportunity to rotate throughout different areas of the business throughout your time in the program. Very similar, we have some other programs too. They all range in the amount of length that they have. Our human resources program is 3 years in length, and they have certain rotations that you go through as well. So when you're thinking about what internships and full-time opportunities are available, this is not a comprehensive list of all of them, but this list is what our team really supports on a day-to-day basis. And something I always like to highlight for folks is, what does that summer internship experience look like? So this is really my wheelhouse. This the type of programming and events that my team puts our heart and souls into putting on for our interns every summer. So we bring on about 500 interns across the country every summer through a variety of those programs that we just went through. And there is, as you can see here, a lot of things that are a part of that experience. Something that I had mentioned before, and something that I am super passionate about is our intern symposium. So this is a 2-day conference style event that we put on for our rising seniors. Gives them great exposure to senior leadership, networking, community service, as well as an opportunity to meet and network with their fellow interns as well. So that's just one of the sneak peeks to a look inside our intern program. The other that I think folks are super interested in is our executive leadership speaker series. So our CEO, Alan Schnitzer, actually always does a leadership speaker series, a fireside chat with our interns every summer. He thinks it's super important to be able to build that connection with our interns. And so he'll come to Hartford and do an in-person chat with them every summer as well. So really a great experience. Something that we like to sell with our internships is you are going to be doing real hands-on meaningful work throughout the summer, and that is something that is not only super important to us, but super important to you as you're thinking about where you would want to spend your summer. And then in regards to, okay, here are these internship opportunities. When does this, kind of happen if you're interested in it? So in regards to our recruitment timeline, so for our internship opportunities, we recruit in the early September timeframe, and that recruitment goes really throughout that entire fall semester, but our positions are really posted in early September. So if you are interested in any of these opportunities, now is a great time to get your application in. And then those interviews for those opportunities happen throughout the entire fall semester. So it's really done on a rolling basis based upon when you do apply to them. And our internships they start in the beginning of June, so that's why you'll see that date there. We are already thinking and planning for June of next summer, which is crazy to say out loud, considering, like Kathy said, it's October 22nd right now, and we're having this conversation. But our internships span typically that first week of June through the first or second week in August over that 10 weeks. So, and our full-time programs as well, those follow a similar recruiting timeline. So if you're interested in a full-time opportunity, the recruitment for those are happening at this time as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop my sharing now, because that was my my kind of spiel to give everyone here today. But appreciate you giving me the time to kind of walk through Travelers High Level, and happy to answer kind of any questions that folks or Kathy may have.
So I'm going to let students, if you prefer to put your question in the chat and we can read the question out for you. Just use that hand raise, and I'm happy to have you unmute yourself so you can have a conversation with Amanda. We will, at the end of this, we will stop recording. So if there's anything that you want to add that should not be in the recording, feel free to stay on for a few minutes after that. Amanda, you did an amazing job just giving the overview of Travelers. I think there are so many aspects to the company that you just don't always know about when you're thinking about the kind of company you want to work for. I'd love to ask the question of the employers for the students that are watching this is what is it that's unique about UConn students that they can really highlight when they interview, talk to somebody at Travelers about their role? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before when Kathy and I were chatting, we had over 50 UConn interns with us last year. So it's a large chunk of our 500 that we bring on every year. Something that I would say that is unique or more unique about UConn students is the variety of opportunities and experiences that they can take advantage of at UConn. So not only being involved in the classroom and with their studies, but there's a variety of organizations throughout campus that you can be involved in that demonstrate additional skills like leadership and teamwork, collaboration. So showing that you have an interest or a passion, or you're pursuing a project outside the classroom to advance some skills. So I would say taking advantage of the offerings that UConn has during your time as a student, and then being able to articulate those on your resume. So back to saying areas that you volunteer in, even if you're just a member of a club. So, you know, when I was in college, I was in the Women in Business organization, and I never really even thought to put that on my resume. But, you know, looking back on it, I wish I did, because it showed that I had a passion and drive to get involved, to develop my career, to have those types of conversations. So something that I would say UConn students can put on their resume to stand out is their involvement, because the organizations at UConn show, we've seen time and time again, folks that are involved typically tend to be our successful interns.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense. Anybody want to raise a hand? Because otherwise I'll just keep asking questions. Now, here's the good thing about these sessions is Amanda is here. She could just give us a link to the website, right? We can get some of this off the website. You can go on the website, you can learn it. But right now you have a senior consultant in emerging talent here. So Catherine, why don't you go ahead and ask your question?
Oh, terrific. Thank you. So I am very interested in the marketing and the customer experience team, and just was wondering if there were opportunities there and what you would recommend for making connections to really learn more about what the opportunities are, and also to really make, again, make a good impression.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And in those opportunities within marketing and customer service too. So those don't fall necessarily within our leadership development programs or development programs that we were talking through before. So that timeline of how and when to apply doesn't necessarily apply to those roles, which is totally fine. But just wanted to clarify that one for you there. And then my recommendation for those roles is, on our career site, you can join our talent pipeline on there. And when you join the talent pipeline, you can indicate what types of roles you're interested in. So if marketing is of interest to you, or customer experience, you can go ahead and check those off when you create a profile. And then what will happen, Catherine, is when there's an opportunity that falls within that bucket, you'll get an email notification saying, they just posted a marketing consultant position. That might be something that I'm interested in. And that'll be able to give you some notification for that as well. So I would say from a logistics perspective, definitely encourage you to sign up from the talent pipeline. From a networking perspective, I would say I'm I'm always on LinkedIn, so I always push LinkedIn as a great way to kind of find out people that are maybe working at an organization in a role that you might be interested in. So again, back to the marketing example, if you see, oh, there's a marketing consultant position at Travelers, I'll just Google marketing consultant at Travelers, and usually some folks will come up on LinkedIn. I'm not saying that if you message someone, everybody is going to always answer you, but something I will say is whenever I've reached out to someone from Travelers or on LinkedIn to ask them, hey, would you mind, if I set up a 10-minute phone call with you? I saw that you've been in this role. I'm interested in starting a career in this area. You never know who will give you a phone call back, and that might just be the connection that you need to kind of help bridge the gap. So I would say definitely don't shy away from reaching out to people. I know it's nerve-wracking, but it's definitely something that I would say could get you going a far way.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Vishnu?
Yeah, I had like a question about certifications, right? Say I did like a SQL certification and like a full stack certification outside of college. How would that stand out? Like specifically if I want like a role within the field of engineering.
Yeah, great question. So,
Thank you, thank you.
yeah, so definitely something I would say you would want to highlight on your resume because that shows, like I had said before, any extra work that you're doing outside of the classroom, a project that you pursued, a certification that you got on your own time really does go a long way in showing that you're interested and committed to learning and growing in that area. So first up, I would say definitely add it to your resume. Next, I would definitely say if you have the opportunity to have an interview, definitely highlight that that is something that you pursued on your own and that you're interested in and willing to grow kind of in that way. So I think it's a really great thing to speak to. It shows that you are passionate about that area and really looking to develop.
All right, thank you. That answers it.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Amanda. In the interview process, is it a virtual interview first? Is that the first step?
Yeah, so great question. So right now, Travelers interviews are fully virtual. So ever since COVID, we have kept everything virtual. Reason being, we believe it levels the playing field for students. We found that a lot of the time, sometimes they would have a hard time being able to get a ride to come in person or being able to coordinate it with their class schedule. So all interviews are conducted either over the phone or by like Microsoft Video. There'll be a video interview.
Okay. And is that a live interview? So is it just like we're doing right now, or is it more of the like higher view type of a program?
Nope. So it's all live interviewing.
Nice. Okay. So for the students, you still want to practice using those programs so you can see how you're responding on screen and all that. But I think that's absolutely wonderful news, Amanda, that it's that personal connection.
Yeah.
It gives the opportunity for everybody to be able to interview, but it's still much more personal than some of the online programs.
Yeah.
Catherine, did you have one more question?
No, I'm sorry. I forgot to lower my hand.
Okay.
I'll do that right now. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. What do you think about cover letters, Amanda? Do you read them? Do you think they're necessary?
Yeah, so great question. So I would say it depends on the role. And so like I had mentioned, so we just did a resume review session today with our Operation Leadership Development Program participants, and they are looking to place out of the program soon. And so they're looking to apply to a kind of a one-off single opportunity. And so we always say it never hurts to have them because it gives you an opportunity to showcase why you're interested in the role. But I cannot sit here and promise you every single one of them is going to be read. I always like to go on the side of caution of it's better to have one than to not. The one thing I always say with cover letters, though, please double check that you are uploading the correct cover letter when you apply. Cannot tell you how many times we have seen other companies' names on cover letters or other positions that's different than the opportunity that they applied for in a cover letter. So
Right.
I would say, like I said, if you're going to put it on there, great, doesn't hurt. Just make sure that you're putting it for the right position.
Right. It's worse if you do a bad cover letter than not doing it.
Yeah. Yes, I would agree.
Right. So for I'm looking at the job postings right now that are on the website. Brianna was talking a little bit about human resources. When the Human Resource Leadership Development Intern Program is posted, but not the full-time program, is that the full-time program is coming later? I know there's always, like you said, 500 intern roles and fewer
Yes.
full-time roles, but any thoughts around like timing for that?
Yeah, so some of our full-time programs have already been pulled season because they were posted early September. That tends to be one of our smaller programs. So for this season, if it's not up there, it means they're most likely full for this upcoming season.
So still reach out, still make your connections. We all know, I
Yep.
hate to say this
Yeah,
word, but there are
absolutely. And something
jobs
I
that
like
open
to
up
share
all the
too
time.
with students is just because there isn't a leadership development program that necessarily is fitting exactly what you're looking for. Travelers has thousands of entry-level opportunities. I went through an internship program and I didn't go through a leadership development program. So when I came on full-time, I just applied to a regular entry-level role and continued on my journey that way. So definitely don't be discouraged if you see a leadership development program that's not exactly what you're looking for, or if you don't see one that's posted for that opportunity. My biggest recommendation, like I just shared, is please join the talent pipeline, because what that does is it pushes out opportunities to you that you will be interested in.
And the talent pipeline, you get to the talent pipeline once you've created your profile.
Yep. Yeah. So once you create your profile on our career site, you're able to go in there and check off roles that you're interested in.
Okay. All right. I want to be really mindful of Amanda's time. One more moment. Does anybody want to ask a follow-up question before I stop recording? Sue?
I just wanted to read a message that was Anida. So thank you so much for your time and holding this session. Unfortunately, the individual is unable to unmute their mic, but wanted to ask if you had any advice on how you can increase your chances of landing an interview after applying. So she has, or he has specifically applied to the engineering development program internship. So I think you kind of answered that when you talked about the portal, but I also want to give you that information or that opportunity to respond directly to the individual.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think when you apply for something, taking the time before you apply to really make sure that you tweak your resume and cover letter if you're sending one to be specific to that role can really make you stand out during the application process. In regards to increasing your chance of landing a spot to apply, I think that is going to be dependent on how you showcase yourself on your application, right? On your resume and the experiences that you have there. What I will say is please be patient with us too. We are still in the midst of our recruiting season. So we do have our recruiters that are working on getting through all of those applications that we get through. You will get a response regardless of the outcome. So every single person that applies to that opportunity will get a message with an outcome. It might just take us some time to get there. So please just be patient with us as we head through this fall season.
That is really good insight, because students talk to us about, I applied last week. It's been 8 days. I haven't heard anything. Does that mean I'm out? And timing is very, very different in the corporate world than it is
Yes.
in college world. Yeah. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
Yeah.
And then we do have another student who asked, adding on to what you've said before, do you have any tips to stand out in an interview or when networking?
I think something that stands out to me the most is when someone comes prepared for both of those types of conversations. So not only being, mindful in the interview that, we are interviewing you, it's also your opportunity to interview that company and that employer to see if you think it would be a good fit for you long term. So bring questions, try to get some additional insights to see if you could see yourself working there and if it would be a good fit for you. And same thing when it comes to networking. So, when I have interns set up time with me over the summer, I'm more than happy to chat with anyone, but when I have students that come to me and they have a list of questions that they want to talk about or areas they're looking to get insight into, we have a much more meaningful conversation than when someone says, hey, want to just set up time to network? So putting in the time beforehand, I would say to just prepare yourself for both an interview and when trying to build out your network would be my biggest piece of advice there.
Wonderful. Trip, thank you for that one.
Yeah.
So being mindful of your time, Amanda, we want to thank you so much for the time that you've spent with us. For the students that are watching this past the date that we're recording it right now, remember careers.travelers.com. Use Handshake as a resource. Look through LinkedIn. Amanda, I won't ask if they can connect with you. I'll give that to them, whether or not they're going to put the effort in on LinkedIn to seek you out. I'm going to stop recording now. And so if anybody wants to stay on for the moment, we'll stay on for just a minute longer. Thank you again.
Yeah, no, thank you everyone for having me.